What's up, everybody? Chase Haynes here, and today we're going to be talking about Python lists. That being said, let's get into it. Okay, so first we're going to go to our GitHub. I'll have the link in the description below. We're going to go to repositories, and we're going to keep building upon the repo that I built from the earlier videos. So we're going to go to Python variables. And then from here, we are going to open with GitHub desktop. I just like to show the repetition of how to set it up so there's no confusion. We're going to open in Visual Studio Code. Great. Now we are going to create a new file. We're going to call this list.py. Okay, so first, what is a list, right? So we're going to say shift command. A list is a single that can store multiple values, right? And we're going to get into more of this. A list is a single variable that can store multiple values, right? So let's create a single variable. We can name this anything we want. Let's pick a topic, or we could just name it something simple, but let's say cars. This is our variable. You're going to equal, and it will equal. We're going to do square brackets, quotation mark, and then from here, we're going to start putting in, for this example, we can do cars. So we can do BMW, Mazda, Ford, McLaren. I think I got that right. Okay, cool. So now we have our variable and it's storing these multiple items. One thing to know also is the index, right? So this index, we started out, break it down. All right, this is what we call ordered. So going to start at an index of 0. We're going to go to an index of 1. Index of 2. Index of 3, right? And like I said, this can go so on and so forth. And so for the next thing, we talked about it being ordered, right? Now, something very important. I'm going to write this out, actually. The first one, it's ordered. The next one, we're going to say that it is changeable. What do I mean by that? It means we can remove, change, or add to this list. So from this, we're just going to, we're going to continue with this one. So for example, we're going to add, right? What we can do cars dot append, right? Append is the attribute, brackets. And then from here, we can add a new car, right? So we have a list right here. Another favorite car we could add, let's say, I'm blanking out right now. Let's do Toyota. Here we go. I'm going to come down and we're going to print it out. Going to print cars, right? And there we are. Toyota. So that's one example for when we talk about changeable. And lastly, for a list, we need to make sure that we understand that a list also allows duplicates. So it allows duplicates. What do I mean by that, right? Like, why is this a thing? It's because we talked about earlier, right? So number one, we talk about it being ordered. The index starts at 0, goes to 1, goes to 2, goes to 3, right? So let's just add something in here. So if we say McLaren again, all it is, it's going to add another index of 4. And if we print this out, it's going to add 2 McLarens, or add an additional one, because it allows duplicates because it's indexed. On top of that, right? So we have the list. Let's get rid of this. We don't need 2 McLarens. Take this index out. Okay, we're going to come down here. And so next, let's talk about finding the length of our list, right? So what we can do is it's very simple. We're going to type in len for length. We're going to put brackets around our variable. And simply, we're just going to run it. And there we go. So the length of this list is 4. We start at 0, 1, 2, 3. But technically, it's counted as 1, 2, 3, 4. But the index starts at 0. Additionally, let's understand that when it comes to writing your lists, they don't have to be strings. It can be also booleans, and they can also be integers. So we're going to do a few examples of this. So let's say age, your age equals, and then from here we can put in our numbers, 23, 12, 98, 24, and do one more. 74. Okay, great. So this is our integer list. Next one, let's do a string. So let's say save activity. From here, we can put running, hiking, bodybuilding, and so on and so forth, right? And then lastly, what we can do, oh, also, my fault, make sure we equal. Drop down to the next line. This is for our booleans. So simply, we're just going to call this boolean equals square brackets, and then from there we can put true, false, true, false, you know, and whatever you want. We're going to label this as integer list, string list, and our bool list. And then so from here, right, if we run them, we can do print to your age down, change this to other variable, save activity, and lastly we can change this to boolean. Then from here, when we print them out, there we go. It's still printing the length of it, so ignore that, right? But we have the list, right? We have our ages, we have the activities as strings, and then we have our boolean returns, true, false, true, false. And then lastly, we can also combine all of these. A combo list equals square brackets, and then from here we can put a combination. We can put age 12. We can then put double quotes, hiking, true, back to our age, let's say 74, and then we can put running, and so on and so forth. But with this, it allows us to combine it, right? And now we're going to print this combo list. I'm going to comment out all of these, and I'm going to comment out this as well for the length. So now when we run this, line 24 should be the only thing printing. And there we go. 12 hiking, true, 74 running. That's exactly what we put down here. And so this is how you do a combo list. One thing also I want to show you without getting too deep into actual lists is how to call out a set index for your list. So with that being said, let's do combo list, for example, right? So we can break it down a little better. So we're going to do, we have the print combo list, right? But from here, what if we just want to pull one of the values in our list, right? What if I don't want to include hiking, true, 74, and running, right? What if I just want 12? So what we're going to do is we're going to say print combo list, and then we're going to then put square brackets, and this is for your index. So what we're going to do is we're going to call 0, right? Clear this. And calling 0, I'll let you see if you get it right. Is that what you expected? If it isn't, totally okay, but let's just break it down. Remember, we talked about how right here is the index of 0, right? We had the index of 1, 2, 3, and 4. See, so we hit 0. So the index of this list is 12. So let's switch it up. Let's say we want to do, 3, right? The index of 3. And hit that. We're going to run this. And there we are. Now we're calling 74 for the index. But say now I want to call 1, 2, 3, right? How would we do that? We're going to push 1, semicolon, and we want to get to 3, right? So we're going to have to call the additional index past it, but it's not going to be counted, and you'll see. So we're going to start at the index of 1, we're going to go to 2, we're going to go to 3, but we need to list this 4th one. Now we're going to run it, and there we go. We have hiking, true, and 74. And like I said, I mean, you could do this with anything. You could start at the index of 0, and if you wanted to go all the way to running, I mean, at this point, you wouldn't really need to call it because you could just list the whole thing. So let's say we actually wanted to go index to 2. 0 index, the index of 2. We have to count the 3rd one. So we put 3. Let me clear this so it's a little easier to see. And there we go, right? Index 12, index 1, hiking, index 2 is true. And so if we wanted to start at the end of the index and go backwards, right? We could just start at the index of -4, semicolon. And then from there, we can go to, let's say, -2, right? And we would run this. And there it goes. Calling hiking and true. Something also to talk about in this. What if we wanted to go to a set item on this list, right? So so there's one thing also I want to show. So from this, right, we talked about how we can call the index of 1, right? You run it and it just calls hiking, right? But what if we want to call up to say true, right? What we would do, we would do semicolon 3, and there we are, right? It's counting the index from 0 to 1 to 2. We're counting it up to 3, but we're only including these 3 values. I've dived a little bit into what lists are. There's a lot more within lists, but this is just the basics so you can understand what lists are, how to use them, right? Integers, strings, booleans. And then also I think it's very important that you understand how to search through an index. As you get more advanced, for example, right, you'll start to like call out for loops with your index of I, right? Because you're looping through your list or your array or whatever it is. But for now, keep it simple. You can just pull it like that and call it true. Thank you so much for watching the video. And if you like what you saw, hit that thumbs up and also hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much and have a great day.